story of my becoming an engineer and being the first lady engineer for Bharat Petroleum. I had my own challenges because I find that your show is very popular with the young
Thank you,
audience and
ma'am.
probably the parents too. They have not given up. That is the main thing that we need to read about.
Welcome, my viewers. Welcome to another episode of Talk Taste and Travel. And this is going to be an interesting talk once again with a versatile lady, Mrs. Gita Ramachandran. And she has been an engineer, she is an author, she is a mentor, and many more. So, over to you, Gita ma'am. Welcome to my channel. And let's hear from her all about her. So, ma'am, please introduce yourself to my viewers.
Thank you, Lagnajita. In fact, I'm honored to be there on your show because I find that your show is very popular with the young
Thank you,
audience
ma'am.
and probably the parents too. And yes, I would like to share few instances from my life. When you ask me, I shall answer them. I'm an engineer. I was the first lady engineer for Bharat Petroleum in the late 70s when generally ladies did not go for engineering. There were other options.
Yes.
Most of them would like to become doctors or teachers or join IAS. But me, having the DNA of my dad, who was a mechanical engineer, I pursued engineering, and my siblings also pursued engineering, though my
Okay.
mother wanted us to become doctors. So
Okay.
that's the story of my becoming an engineer and being the first lady engineer for Bharat Petroleum. I had my own challenges, but then how I have overcome them and be here today is what, based on your questions, I'll answer, so that I want to know what your readers would like to know, and accordingly, I will answer this. So,
Yeah,
thank
sure,
you
sure.
very much for inviting me to this
It's
prestigious
my
show.
pleasure, ma'am. It's my pleasure that, hearing you as the first lady engineer, and there had been challenges, and now an author. I just remember one name, that is Mrs. Sudhamurthy. Srimati Sudhamurthy, and we have always heard her, and she is so humorous, such a respected and humble lady she is. She has always said the entire college were only filled with men, boys were the students, and she was the only one girl where the entire village said her father that, have you, gone mad? What is this? You're sending your child to a college where there are only boys. She didn't even have a proper restroom, washroom. So all these things, though it's now humorous fun, she really had some challenge in those days, isn't it? Now she has passed through all that. Now the world knows her for her success. So same must be have been with you. So how many males and how
Right.
many females were there in the college?
In the college, in a batch of 239 students, we had nine students, of which six of us were in electrical, two batches, and four and three in civil. So that is how we were. And when I joined Bharat Petroleum, also there were no engineers. I mentioned to you, I was the first lady engineer, and we had the same challenge what you spoke about. There was no restroom
Oh.
in the fields where, and I had to walk about 15 to 20 minutes to reach that building. So almost the challenges that Sudhamurti faced, I also
Mhm.
have faced the same thing. And I also wrote to my director once asking, why is it that
Okay.
ladies are
Only
being
men are
shown the.
selected. Hmm. So
Yes,
you say
yes.
nine,
So,
that means only nine girls, only nine women were there as engineers, lady engineers,
yes,
as
yes, yes,
students. Okay,
yes.
okay. And now, thankfully, our, of course, country has come very far, progressed a lot
It,
ahead. So what do you think when you see the generation now? Comparing that yours with a different status era, the challenges, and we don't have as such, of course, about education and all. Everyone is open,
hmm.
parents are open, we are going to colleges, but still there are things which we cannot fulfill to the ultimate extent. I think optimum extent. How would you tell the young generation today how to focus, what to do exactly, if not fully, on at least how to start?
And generally, what I would suggest to people is that they should believe in themselves and they should pursue whatever they have in their mind. They should pursue that. And one thing that I can say is that when you pursue and you want to succeed and want to excel, you will find that there are a lot of obstacles coming in your way. Like when I started off, there were many obstacles which I faced, but then when you give up and you don't take it further, then
mm,
it's
mm,
like you're lost it. But if you
mm,
persist and you persevere, then there is likelihood that you achieve. You can see the success stories of most of the people. They have not
mm,
achieved whatever they have achieved at one go. Maybe
mm,
Abraham Lincoln, you see, all of us children know the story of Abraham Lincoln, how he tried. If it was an ordinary person, they would have given it after, say, 10 or 11 attempts, but he persisted. You can take the case of any person whom you know who have succeeded and who you have read about. They have not given up. That is the main thing that we need to read about.
mm.
In engineering also, people face a lot of setbacks, particularly ladies
Yes,
face a lot of
yes.
setbacks, those who started earlier. Today it's not the same.
Scenario has
Ladies are
changed.
being taken, but for them they still face gender stereotype,
Mm,
they face those problems of being gender faced. And also they face the problem of the patriarchal society which is existing even now, where once you are back from your office, you are expected to do your domestic
yes,
duties.
yes, of course.
You cannot
There,
escape
the
that.
mental
Yeah.
balance has to be
And
very strong.
so, as parents, what we need to do is we need to educate our sons also to be a
Mm,
partner to their spouses, which is what I
spouse.
did when I was working. I have one son and one daughter, so I always told my son that you cannot be sitting beside and taking your cup of coffee and asking your wife to do everything. It is not, because your wife also will have some passion. She would also want to work, and you need to be a partner. So this is what I think, as an advice to parents, we should encourage our sons also. Then you can find that your daughter-in-law also comes up to that level. Your son also
Yes,
comes to
yes,
her. They
yes,
should
of
be
course.
partners.
There
So
should
this
be a
is one thing
oneness
which,
together. Mm.
yeah. So
Wonderfully
boys who are
said, ma'am.
listening to me,
Wonderfully said. That's correct. The
boys who are
upbringing.
listening to me should know
Yes.
that if if you want yourself to succeed, your wife to succeed, and your children also to succeed, start
Mm,
being an example to them by doing
mm,
whatever
mm.
is possible from your side.
Of course, of course. Very,
Right?
very well said, ma'am. Thank you for the words. And I'm sure my viewers will have a different outlook after hearing this. We all realize it, but we don't practice. Practice makes a man perfect. It's not only about practicing success for career, but also these
Yeah.
everyday matters, everyday routine, compassion, empathy for others. It's a great practice we must do. Only then a wholesome, human being can come up. And hearing your words, yes, about engineers, as you gave example of Abraham Lincoln, I also am remembering, Nikola Tesla or Thomas Alva Edison. How did they
Edison.
never give
Yeah.
up? It was, 10
Yeah.
years, 12 years, experiments. They did not give up. And they never went to, especially for Thomas Alva Edison, who did not go to any college as such formal education. He was, partially deaf even. But they all had challenges. Even Tesla's
Right.
experiments, even now, scientists are carrying forward. He was the one who had said AI would be coming up. There would be smartphones. He had predicted
Yeah.
it long, long ago. So I'm really
You are
thankful to
right.
those people also who had contributed so much for everyone. It's helping us, each of us
Yes.
today. We are taking advantage, of course. Now, ma'am, coming to the writing part. What made you take writing now? After your, different kind of stratas, you have strata that is engineering and then writing. Of course, engineers can be writers. C.V. Ramana, scientists love literature. Engineers can be writers, of course. What made you now, get into it,
uh,
immerse into it?
See, after my retirement, when I was working, I was not writing much. We used to put everything in bullet points. So mostly when you do presentation, it's not much of a writing. You put bullet
Yes,
points and you
yes,
explain that. So
yes.
so for me, I can say that I did not have that flair for writing fiction or literature. I used to
Okay, okay.
read a lot. I've read a lot of
Hmm.
books, but I never thought that I can become an author. Okay, so this was something which is completely new to me. I indulge in technology, so
Mm.
I like to try out new things. So after my retirement, I started trying out many things, and one of them was on publishing. So
Okay.
when I saw an advertisement by Som Batla on that, I just clicked on that and registered for his master class. And after that, it is history. I went on, but when I started writing, I could
Went
find
on.
that I
The
was not getting
stone started
anything to
rolling.
write.
Mm.
I could not write anything. I was just looking at the screen and not knowing what to do. And that is when something struck me. I said, I've got my experience behind me. I've done so much in my life. So I've
Yes.
implemented umpteen number of projects. So some skills are there in me, which I can
Of course.
probably put. It
Put
need
into
not be
words. Mm.
like, the people who write literary fiction, how they write. It need not be. I can give points and I can elaborate on that because that is something which I know about. And
Mm.
so it came from that passion. I know something which I can probably inform people by way of writing, and that is how the first book started. I used to collect lot of articles on leadership, on management, and things like that, which I used to read because I have a passion for that, for getting my teams to work properly, to help them to succeed. So these things were there in my mind. And all these things put together, I started with my first book, which is all on being empowered to do exceedingly well, to make your performance stand out. So my first book
Okay.
is Skyrocket to New Heights, which basically talks about those characteristics which you can bring about in giving out an excellent performance. It
Skyrocket.
became
Mm.
a international bestseller also. And then I wrote the second book, which is all on team, because I found that many times individuals who are very successful, when they come into the team, ego clashes come about, and that person is
Mm.
not able to get along with the leader. And then
Yes.
the
Yes.
teams don't perform well. Individually, he may be very good, but as a team, they are not able.